Ano ba? Magandang tanghali pa yata. Oh, 1:45. Magandang tanghali, Acoustics, Cruz-Angeles. Ito po ang Luminous. Okay? Ah, as promised earlier, dun sa isang nagtanong, isa lang, dun sa nagtanong, meron tayong Sutil Sunday today. Napansin ko lang dun sa comment section natin, may maraming tanong tungkol dun sa resignations pa rin, and siguro to some extent dun sa acquittal ni uh, Remulla the Third. Bali, Juanito Remulla. So, uh, daanan po natin, no? May mga nagtatanong tungkol dun sa resignations, may mga nagsasabi, bakit ang PIDEA hindi sinasama? Well, the simple answer really is that yung PIDEA po ay hindi under the DILG. Action po ito ni Secretary of the Interior and Local Government Benhar Abalos. So, he can only issue a call to action or require certain actions in his area of responsibility, which ay yung jurisdiction niya. Ang PIDEA po ay under the office of the President. So, we will have to wait kung sinong authority ang aandar tungkol sa PIDEA. So, ulitin ko po dun sa mga nagtatanong, bakit hindi kasama sa PIDEA dun sa ang PIDEA dun sa mga resignations. There's also another reason pala, dalawang reasons niya. Number one, this is an action on the part of the SILG, the Secretary of the Interior and Local Government, si Sec. Benhar Abalos. And so it's only within his jurisdiction. Ang jurisdiction niya po ay PNP. Second, kakapalit lang po ng head ng PIDEA. So, kailan ba yun? About two months ago. So, meron naman pong action on that end. And we'll have to wait for the new head to determine kung ano yung action dun sa kanila if he thinks that the ranks of PIDEA officials or officers will have to be, how do you call this, cleansed. Diba? Sabi ni Facebook user, ang resignation pala is from current assignments, not from the PNP service. Naman din. Sinong nag-clarify po niyan? Sa madaling sabi, floating status lang sila. May sweldo kahit walang trabaho, hayahay. Actually, based on the initial press conference ni Sec. Benhar, if they were talking about retirement benefits and pensions still intact, that would have been a resignation from office. However, siguro, in response to the opposition, kina-clarify nila na yun na nga, floating status pa na lang ang magiging effect niya. So that's the way I'm seeing it right now. Kasi kung titignan nyo talaga, himayin niya yung sinabi ni Sec, and it appeared to be a resignation from position. But it's also a good idea kung floating lang muna sila. You take the officers away from an area of responsibility kung saan makaka-apekto sila sa mga drug busts and prosecutions. So, let's see. Like I said, it's possible that they're going to be continuously clarifying the procedures and the policy on this one. So, hintayin natin kung meron pang additional na clarification. I have not seen an official clarification pertaining to floating status on that. We are going by the initial press conference of Sec. Benhar. We'll be willing to clarify this further if there is an official issuance. But it's a weekend, so my guess is hintayin natin ng next week kung malagay na in writing yung official policy on that one. Shout out daw kay Arlinda Akiyama. Nanonood daw parate. Yes, nandito po kami sa, ano bang lugar natin dito? Tuna, Marina? Marina Tuna. Sa Davao. Sabi ni Chewy, lahat po ba ng nag-resign may immunity? If ever guilty sila sa na-involve sa drugs, wala pong usapan about immunity. Wala nga po kasing mga cases because they're going by, how do you call this? Alam naman nating lahat doctrine. Kasi we know, for example, the authorities know who are involved, pero the problem is going through the procedures and proving them. So while they're doing that, while these are being reviewed, they're being given the opportunity to resign in order to, yung para hindi na kailanganin yung procedures. Para hindi na, matrabaho po kasi yun, and then there's evidentiary requirements. So, although mababa ang evidentiary requirement for administrative dismissals, it would take a lot of man-hours on the part of the department para ma-ilitis lahat sila. So, ito lang, this is only the first wave. Yung mga ganito, mag-submit kayo ng resignations para hindi na kayo kakasuhan, is first wave. The second wave will be the filing of cases next. So, usually ganyan naman po ang strategies when it comes to to things like this. Sabi ni Anthony, ang tanong ko lang po, pulis lang po ba ang ilan sa sangkot sa drugs? Paano po yung mga politiko? Wala po ba suspected? Sir, ganito po kasi yun. We're only dealing with the announcement of the SDILG Secretary. Of course, we understand na yung pagdating dito sa droga, sistema po yan. Just like justice is a system. So we have a system of justice. So we understand na marami namang areas talaga kung saan maaaring makorrupt yung sistema, kung saan maaaring mag-fail yung sistema. So the DILG is addressing its area. So dun sa mga pulis. We expect later on na justice, the Department of Justice, will address yung sa mga prosecutors and so on. We will also expect the Supreme Court to be dealing, whether it is publicly or quietly, with regard to the judges, if any, are involved, and so on. So, pati sa mga investigations, we expect that the DOJ, which has control and supervision over the NBI, will also have to deal with it that way. Hindi naman po siguro fair na i-ask natin that the DILG will take care of all aspects of the system. Hindi po kasi nila jurisdiction yan. So yung pag-call for resignations is only limited to those that are under the Department of the Interior and Local Government. So, I think what you're doing is that you're expecting that this particular action is reflective of the action of the entire national government. So, kung nauna pa lang po si SILG, then pwede naman po nating intayin yung action ng DOJ later on. Diba? I don't think there is a time limit yet. Ang nakikita natin is at least on this end, ina-address ng DILG. Sabi ni Marlon, naku attorney, pag saradong utak at kontra from the start, kahit anong paliwanag nyo, wala din. May mga iba nga nagalit sa akin just for breathing, so okay lang, sanay na tayo dyan. Sabi ni Ma'am Teresa, I'm really praying na makakarma si Remulla, ang daming tao ang sinagasaan niya. I'm not sure yet if I agree with this. Sabi ni Rene, is it true si Mayor Magalong isa sa panel na mag-review sa mga PNP personnel? Yes po, he already issued a statement na isa siya doon sa 5. Sabi ni Chewy, sino po pa ba ang allowed ng batas na maging independent investigator sa mga PNP scalawags? Kasi laging PNP, NBI at DOJ lang nag-iimbestiga sa maraming taon na hindi pa rin nare-resolve yan. Kaya nga po, dito sa announcement ni Sec Abalos, nag-constitute siya ng 5-man committee. At yung committee po na yun, hindi natin alam kung sino yung mga miyembro. We only know that si former Police General Benji Magalong is one of them. So this is not going to be an investigation solely by the PNP or solely by the NBI and so on. Ngayon, bakit ginagamit ang PNP, NBI, and DOJ? Because they are the ones tasked under the law. Yan po ang setup natin. Yan po yung sistema. Sabi ni Ma'am Julia, thank God nakapanood din ng live. Happy New Year, Ma'am. Magandang hapon kay Ma'am Pinay. Sabi ni Alex, how's Davao? Slightly maulan kanina. Sabi ni Tyson, for some reason, I've strong doubts about this. Feeling ko project lang ni na Abalos at Remulla to para maipwesto yung mga tao nila like Katapang. Napwesto na po, di ba, OIC siya dun sa, sa Bureau of Corrections. So, but let's see. Um, if you're a politician, then you also have to come up with political solutions for problems. So, this might be a political solution, di ba? Sabi ni Sir Glenn, saan daw pwede makuha ang calendar dito sa Davao City? Saan tayo bukas? Or, mamayang kahapon i-announce ko po. So, kasi wala talaga kaming kalendaryo pa. I mean, kalendaryo, schedule of activities. May dala akong mga kalendaryo. Sabi, thank you kay Tyson. Sabi ni Arnel, mag-success yan kung lahat ng colonel at general ay mag-submit ng resignation o at least 90%. Pero kung iilan lang, parang di pa rin uubra. As far as I know, those who have indicated that they will submit is something like 80%. So, I think that's a fairly good amount, di ba? Sabi ni Ma'am Elma, wala bang ilalabas na drug matrix kagaya ng ginawa ni Tatay Dutz dati? Well, you have to give the current administration the leeway to make their own strategies. Diba? It might not work for them the way that the former president used to handle this problem. We have to give them naman kasi may discretion sila to determine their course of action. So naiintindihan natin kung bakit na iinip yung iba sa atin because we're comparing it with the previous administration. Bigyan naman natin ng konting palugit yung current administration to chart their own strategies. Sabi ni Chewy, sino lang ba pwedeng mag-imbestiga sa SEC ng DOJ if in any way involved siya sa drugs? Well, hindi naman po DOJ ang PNP, so pwede naman doon on the part of the PNP, di ba? If meron na pong evidence, maaaring isumite ito sa ombudsman. Sabi ni Ma'am Nem Leda, do try din siya goto and tapat baboy. Uy, sige, thank you. Thank you for the recommendation. Ano na ba nangyari sa foreign series na palabas sa PH Television? Tuluyan na bang naban like Korean novela? Hindi po. My guess is that it is ruled by the ratings. Sabi ni Ma'am Carmen, please wag nang magkumpara sa Duterte at PBBM. Move on na kayo. Si Ma'am Gina is watching from Israel. So, i-announce po namin, wala pa rin po kami kasing schedule. What we want to do is announce tomorrow we're going to have lunch at doon kami magbibigay ng calendars. Magsa-start magbigay. I'm sure we're going to have more than one area. Yes, ni Ma'am Mildred, kanya-kanyang style. Correct. Andito na yung food look, oh. May tuna. Okay. Sabi ni Ma'am Nenita, Remulla dapat mag-resign. Well, it will really depend kung ano ang kagustuhan ng ating Pangulo. In the absence of any investigation or evidence of any direct involvement in a crime, then I think the president will reserve his own discretion for that. Sabi ni Regular, actually, merong study patungkol sa paano mabawasan ng corruption sa PNP. Ang pagre-resign mula full colonel to general was among its main recommendations. Baka pwede ninyong padala sa amin yung link to the study. Sabi ni Ma'am Mildred, may mga matrix noon nakasuhan ba? Hindi naman ata. Merong iba po na nakasuhan at yung iba na natanggal sa pwesto. The matrix was, was based on raw intel. So pagka may ganyan, may raw intel, ang gagawin is ipapasa yan dun sa mga investigative agencies or magtatalaga kung sino yung mag-iimbestiga para sa paglagap ng ebidensya, pagkalap ng ebidensya. Then the evidence will be used for filing the appropriate cases, administrative and criminal, para matanggal sila. In the end, babagsak at babagsak pa rin yan into the legal system. Sabi ni Ma'am Julia, so far so good. Para sa kanya, ang ginagawa ng PBBM administration, including itong panawagan ni Sec. Abalos para sa courtesy resignation ng mga high officials na in charge sa peace and order ng ating bayan. Courtesy resignation is sagot sa non-violent war on drugs. At yung mapatunayan na merong involvement sa illegal drugs must be prosecuted. Yun. Okay, sabi ni Carlo Dollier, see you later. See you. Sabi ni JP, ano daw po ang difference ng courtesy resignation at irrevocable resignation? Pag irrevocable resignation, ibig sabihin, nagre-resign ka na at hindi ka na magtatanggap ng pakiusap na huwag ka na munang mag-resign o mag-stay ka muna. In other words, de-resign ka na from the time that your resignation, your irrevocable resignation becomes effective. Tapos, ang courtesy resignation means that you're giving the option to the appointing authority to accept or to reject the resignation. So, meron pa yung final step. Sabi ni AJ, I heard Chamenton's comment na tanggalan ng tinik si Boying na lipat kay PBBM. Wow, wait, I want to show you the food. Daming food. Oh my gosh, kaya ba natin yan? I am very sure kaya natin. Wait, bakit wala akong sugpo? Ayan. So, I think Abalos, sabi ni Ma'am Yasmin, should step to name and shame those corrupt PNPs. If they have hard evidence, then charge or dismiss these rogue PNPs. Naming and shaming po might leave some people open to a charge of libel. Diba? Si Presidente Duterte, he could do that kasi immune siya from suit eh. Pero si Sec. Abalos has no such immunity, so he cannot do that. So, dumating na ba si Sir J? Iniintay ko pa po. I'm waiting for his message kung saan kami magkita. Yes po, magkikita po kami. Yun yung Dapat yung unang hakbang para sa korupsyon ay yung lifestyle check, buwan-buwan sa mga taong nagtatrabaho sa gobyerno, tapos kulong agad pag lumaki ang kita nila na walang dahilan or imbestigahan agad-agad. Yes, I understand that. And meron din naman pong jurisdiction to do that ang ating ombudsman. At saka dati meron tayong anti-corruption commission. So meron silang power to do that. And yes, I understand that the lifestyle check is a very effective weapon, and it must be done systematically and officially, diba? Sabi ni Sir Rene, ang dami namang food. Huwag niyong ipagkaila sa akin. Yung food. Pwede po magpa-picture sa inyo kung saan namin kayo makita bukas. Yes, ma'am, pwede naman po. Sabi ni Ma'am Maria, very diplomatic person. Sabi ni Jean, luminous and tapatan sa lab, pwede naman po. Kasi matagal na po namin, di ba parati namin iniimbita si Sir J dati sa Karambuala. At saka nung may tambayan pa, nandun siya parati. Hi! Hay nako, bigla akong nagutom. Sabi ni Ma'am Julia. O siya, sige, kakain muna kami. But I wanted to address the issue of jurisdiction. Kasi yun nga, sinasabi nila dapat kasama ang PIDEA. Limited naman po ang jurisdiction ng ating SILG to his own department. So kung sakasakali, I understand that the authorities will also consider yung dito sa PIDEA and other aspects or other areas of jurisdiction of other agencies. Okay. Sabi ni Ken, kain po muna kayo. Yes, sir. Actually, mapapadalas yung live dito kasi siguro lahat ng opportunities na nag-iintay ako ng pagkain, magla-live ako. Which means maraming live kasi marami akong planong kainin. Sabi ni Joel, watching from Pangasinan, dapat sabay-sabay at drug test at resignations para walang gusot tapos tanggapan ng pension. This is kumbaga, itong courtesy resignations kasi is a way of shortening the system. Diba? imbis na lahat yan ililitigate natin, yung mga gustong umalis, wala nang litigation, wala nang presumption na mali yung ginawa nila, at intact yung kanilang mga pensyon, they remain in good standing. That way, mababawasan na hindi na kailangan i-litigate. The reason for doing this is, one, to shorten the period. Oops, maingay na. Two, ayun. One, to shorten the period para hindi masyadong magastos doon sa sa manpower, and two, para hindi rin magastos ma-sustain yung mga officials natin or personnel who will be conducting the investigation. But that's just stage one. Yung stage 2, of course, will be the formal investigations. Kung ayaw umalis, then lahat ng mga suspected will be considered, will be subjected to continuous investigation. At hindi lahat ng investigation will be overt. Pwedeng manmanan sila, pwedeng, they will look into backgrounds and all that. So, yun ang second stage. The reason may first stage na ganyan is to give them fair warning, we're going after you. If you want to leave now, you leave now while things are good for you, and then hayaan na natin and then it's compromise, in other words, di ba? Imbis na hanapan natin sila at imbestigahan sila, at in some cases baka hindi pa umabot sa quantum of evidence that is required, then magkusa na sila, alisan na lang, diba? So for me, it is a good compromise, and remember that politics is also the art of compromise. So, sabi ni Noel, ano naman kaya ang gagawin nila sa hindi nagre-resign? Well, they will be subjected to investigations and continuous observation. Sabi ni Alexis, who will take over the position of General Azurin while he's on courtesy resignation? I think they will follow the line of succession. So, sino yung next in command and next in command and so on. Or magtatalaga ng OIC ang appointing authority, and that's the president. So, there are many ways to do it. Sabi ni Jaime, nakaka-proud sa Davaoenos kasi favorite place niyong puntahan ng Davao City. Actually, favorite place ko makakuha ng durian. Kasi the only other place na nakakapag-durian ako is in Sulu. Magagawa ko lang po yun pag kilala ko yung mga task force commanders doon. Matagal dapat nilang ginawa yan. Happy lunch, sabi niya. Can Remulla file a case? File a case against whom? They can file a case as long as there is evidence. Sabi ni Froilan, ma'am, nakakapanghinayang sana kayo ang naging spokesperson ni PBBM. Hindi po, si Presidente is his own spokesperson. So, wala talagang magiging spokes dyan. Sabi ni Ma'am Nenita, sabi ni Camentong, nadamay lang kayo kay Vic Rodriguez at dapat daw imbestigahan si E.S. Rodriguez sa kanyang mga bank account at 500 million na house. Ano po comment ninyo dito? Because I am subject of the comment, hindi naman siguro fair na mag-comment din ako dyan. So all I can say is I am thankful for the faith of Camentong in how I did my job. Sabi ni Ma'am Leah, mga lieutenant colonel and major ang papalit sa mga generals at colonels na nag-resign, then nakaalalay din ang AFP for peace, nakaalalay ang AFP for peace and order sa bansa. Okay, sige po, mamayang hapon, meron na naman po kaming live kasi kakain na naman ako. Pinaplano na namin yung susunod na kain ngayon pa lang. So, maraming salamat dun sa lahat ng sige, may isang tanong dun sa acquittal nga pala ni Remulla III. Well, ang sinasabi ng court is there is reasonable doubt. Hindi ba yung sinasabi natin, to prove a crime, you have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. You have to prove the guilt beyond reasonable doubt. Ngayon, yung pagtanggap niya ng package na hindi naman maliwanag na siya yung nag-order o bumili ng laman ng package at hindi maliwanag na alam niya yung contents ng package is sufficient for reasonable doubt. Yun po yung sinasabi ng hukuman, which is based naman on established doctrines of the Supreme Court. So, for the details of that, wala pong mas magiging detalyado kung hindi si Attorney Bertelen Causing. Siya po yung abogado. Meron siyang vlog sa YouTube at ine-explain niya yung mga detalye dito. Pero in general terms, ang sinasabi ng hukuman is hindi po napatunayan beyond reasonable doubt yung guilt ni Sir Remulla na anak ni DOJ Chief. So it is important for us, later on i-discuss natin what constitutes reasonable doubt. Kailangan po kasi pinoprotektahan natin lahat ng citizens natin from arbitrariness. So nag-establish yung hukuman ng standard of evidence. Yung standard na ito ay kailangan yung proof na maisusumite ay makakapagpatunay ng beyond reasonable doubt. Yung hindi yan beyond all doubt reasonable doubt. Dito may reasonable doubt kasi hindi nila mapatunayan na alam ni Mr. Remulla yung laman ng package nang siya ay nagtumanggap. Kung sakasakali, dun sa mga buy-bust prosecutions, kapag natanggap yung package, bubuksan yan, iintayin ng poser buyer, ng police, or ng law enforcer, or ng PDEA, titignan nila kung binuksan na or determine na nung buyer na hinuhuli nila yung laman ng package at alam niya na droga yon or illegal substance yon. So, pag na-establish na alam ng buyer kung ano yung binibili niya at tinatanggap niya, then that is already guilt. Kasi alam niya na natanggap, na kung ano exactly yung tinatanggap niya. In this instance, hindi maliwanag na alam niya kung ano yung package na dineliver sa kanya at kanyang tinanggap. So, okay. So, maraming salamat sa lahat ng nanood ng live na ito. We'll be back later this afternoon for additional questions dito sa mga issues na ito. Mag-ano muna ako, kakain muna ako. Thank you. See you later.